All right, we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuggestCast. My name is, of course. I'm really not sure what my name is. What was my name again?
You're our moderator, Lewis Powell.
Oh well, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I guess I'll be Barry, or
Lewis.
Lewis,
How about
yeah.
Matt.
Lewis.
And oh yes, introduce myself, of course. Lewis. Too. And
Okay.
we usually believe this is
Well, Lewis seems to be experiencing some technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, maybe the rest of us should go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Ben Heaton.
I am Vincent Watkins.
I'm Matt Smith, but not the British one.
And together we are SuggestCast.
So on tonight's SuggestCast, we have 3 suggestions from last week to talk about. 2 of them are sort of related, only I guess maybe tangentially. But the first one, I guess we should start with, came to us from our moderator, Lewis Powell, and he suggested that we should pick our favorite appliance, Google it, and then add a color. Am I getting that right?
That sounds right. Lewis,
Add a color.
that is what your suggestion was, right?
that sounds about right. Something like
Okay,
that. So,
so,
you're
I'd
allowed
like
to
to
pick
discuss my
any
experience
search engine
with
you like, of course.
Right, and my experience with this, I used Google, and I searched for a blender, and then I add the color orange, because I wanted to see whether it would interpret that as orange the color or orange the fruit. And it did a good job of showing orange blenders instead of blenders with oranges in them. When I went to look for the image results, a lot of the pictures were of orange-colored blenders with oranges next to them, which seemed a little unnecessary, but it was kind of nice.
Well, that's how I keep my blender. If blender happened to be orange, I'd probably keep it stocked with oranges at all time.
Yeah,
In fact, that's where I would keep my oranges.
Do you think people who blend a lot of oranges look for an orange blender to do it with?
You know they might if they're like orange people. Wouldn't you use a juicer though?
Yeah. That's totally a thing, though. If like your local sports team color is orange, then
Yeah.
you know if you're really into them, you'll buy an orange blender.
Yeah, when would you put an orange in a blender?
Yeah, that seemed. Is juicing oranges is a thing, but you don't use a blender for that. I mean, I guess you could, right?
Well,
It doesn't seem
Wanna make-
ideal.
yeah.
If we're making a smoothie, you'd need.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know
just
whether
blend up a bunch of oranges.
I picked my cell phone as my favorite appliance. I don't know whether that was a cheat or not, whether that's not an appliance. It seemed like an appliance to me.
I don't really know what it takes for something to be an appliance.
No.
Do any of us? Did anybody
No.
research this at all?
No,
Did
I just
anybody
went with
perhaps
my
go to a
gut.
search engine and type in appliance?
I went with my gut on this one, so.
That's fair.
But my experiences were not even as interesting as your orange adventures. I mean, I was already aware that
Wow.
cell phones come in a lot of different colors, so I don't think I gained a lot of knowledge. I typed in pink and the brand of my cell phone, and I saw that my cell phone is in fact available in some pink shades.
Yeah, I think that's a popular choice for cell phone colors.
Yeah.
Matt, how about you?
I also went with Blender, but I went with green Blender. And I learned that there's such thing as a blender cover, which is an extra accessory you buy for a blender. It's like this rectangular fabric cover that goes over a blender when you're not using it. So it just looks like a... So I guess it's an aesthetic thing, so your countertop can look like it has a colored cube or rectangle on it instead of a blender.
Well, I do like colorful abstract shapes, so that would be nice.
It's a rectangular prism. So anyway, I gained knowledge of blender covers, and I guess you have to find the blender cover that fits the size of your blender.
Yeah, there's probably some room for variation there. I kind of sidestepped that whole issue by just keeping my blender in a cupboard that's closed so that nobody sees that there's an unsightly, uncovered blender.
I just keep mine right out in the open.
Wow.
I mean, call me uncivilized.
What if you have company over, though?
They're going to see it.
You just hide it under a rug?
No, they're going to see it. I might even point it out to them. I'll be like, I didn't clean this all the way either. I'll clean it when I'm ready to use it.
That's the best time to clean it. Not right after you use it, right before.
That's right.
But yeah, what about you want to use it when it's at its cleanest, which is right after you clean it.
See, Ben gets it.
Lewis, did you follow your own suggestion? And are you able to talk?
Yeah, I know Lewis is having some connection issues. He's coming to us all the way from remote Buffalo, New York.
Yeah. It's a shame he can't talk. He usually likes to give a shout out to some of his students.
Yeah.
I guess we got to move on. Do we want to move on to the...
Well, first, general thoughts on this suggestion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to vote on whether it's a good suggestion for other people to follow.
Yeah.
That's the rule you invented, Vincent.
This whole podcast is something that we invented.
Would you suggest...
Unfortunately, Lewis isn't here to defend and explain his own suggestion, so it leaves him at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the intent was, what we were supposed to get from this.
I'm confident going out on a limb and saying that the viewers do not have anything to gain from Googling their favorite appliance and adding a color.
Well, or at least no more than they would have already suspected. Like, if they did want to buy a green blender cover, then we can confirm that that's something you could search for online. But as far as suggesting this to people, I don't think we should.
I totally would suggest it. I think it'll help the economy because it could spur somebody to purchase a blender when they would not have otherwise. I even found myself considering the purchase of a new blender to match my favorite color.
But did any of us actually make purchases as a result of doing this? I did not.
No.
If money were an issue for me right now, I would have.
The point, though, remember, is to establish useful cultural touchstones, not
like to... Hey, remember that time we all searched for colored appliances?
Yeah. Is this something you're going to refer to in the future?
Probably not.
I'll do it intentionally just to aggravate you.
Yeah, that'll work
That's
too.
fair, but you could say that about any suggestion that Vincent doesn't like, which is a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so many.
Alright, so let's move on to what Vincent suggested, which was that we should each get 8 hours of sleep every night. Or, sorry, every day, because it didn't have to be all at once.
How much sleep had you guys been getting before I made this suggestion?
I hadn't been keeping track, but I think more like 7 hours, but with a lot of variance.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, probably the same for me.
Yeah. See, it's probably
I'm not working
not.
at the store anymore.
It's not such a life-changing suggestion, I suppose, unless you're running a serious sleep deficit, which I think a lot of people are.
That's true.
But you guys really aren't in this situation, well, certainly that I'm in, where I'm got to put kids to bed before I can go to bed, and then I have to get up early to go to work. And
Yeah, you're under a lot of time pressures.
yeah, so I probably gave a suggestion that is only applicable to me, and I couldn't even stick with it. Because,
Oh, really?
No, well, last night I couldn't get 8 hours of sleep because I stayed up doing that Maze podcast.
That's right.
And I can't just sleep in as late as I want because when the kids get up, I got to get up.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny, though, I didn't notice really feeling any better or any different even after getting 8 hours of sleep earlier in the week. But then today, after not getting 8 hours, I just feel terrible.
Oh, man, you got used to it.
Yeah, so maybe
That's the worst.
This took me in, yeah, the
It makes
absolute
you
opposite.
weak.
Yeah.
So my experience with this, I kept a little note card by my bed to note down the time I went to sleep and the time I woke up. And what I found was that most days I would wake up, look at the paper, look at the clock, realize I still had like an hour and a half of sleeping to do. So I'd just go back to bed or just lie there for a while. And I think I may be at a point in my life where I don't actually need 8 hours of sleep in a night.
That's actually consistent with what I've read, is that, you know, as you get older, you don't really need as much until you become like elderly, and then you need more.
Okay, so I guess what I learned from this is that I'm getting older. Which, I mean, I'm turning 30 next week, so that's not, terribly surprising. I am aging over time. I didn't have much trouble getting the full 8 hours of sleep every night after, a false start and then going back to bed. Until today, actually, when I had to get up for something. It still had like 40 minutes left to go. So what I did was I took a nap around like 9:30 tonight. And the nap didn't go too well. I was basically just lying in bed for 40 minutes.
Boy, that's what I should have done. I should have taken a nap a couple hours ago instead of watching that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, then you could have missed the call completely.
No.
I took a nap.
All right.
Way to go, Lewis.
Nice.
Now, was that to get your 8 hours of sleep each night?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot all about it yesterday.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that I would recommend this to people, except there is a useful part of it, which is that, it increases your awareness of your sleeping habits. And that's kind of a useful thing. I'm not sure that going for a particular amount of sleep each night is the right way to do that, though.
No, I think I learned from doing this that I wouldn't suggest this to people generally. I still, from my earlier experiences doing it when I was in college, I'd say that there's a lot of benefit to be had from it, but the benefit is probably only in obvious situations where people are not getting enough sleep. And
Well,
then, yeah.
A lot of our listeners may be in that situation, though.
Yeah, so.
I'm guessing a lot of YouTube viewers are college students.
Yeah, if you don't get enough sleep, try sleeping more. Also, if you're hungry, maybe food.
No. Not if. Oh, anyway. I think it would be
like that.
It really is the thing where people who are sleep deprived don't necessarily appreciate how much better they can feel when they get a good night's sleep. But I guess the suggestion didn't really work out here because I don't think anyone else was really sleep deprived, and it didn't have the effect on me that I wanted.
If you're asking me,
it's a thumbs down even for me.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I would, though, because, I mean, getting an appropriate amount of sleep is an important cultural touchstone. I mean, you can pretty easily referenced getting a good night's sleep throughout the day. So.
Yeah, but I think to have that as a touchstone, it's enough that you have at some point had a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I would suggest at some point during your entire life getting 8 hours of sleep.
Get 8 hours of sleep total during your life.
My full suggestion should have been go several months not getting enough sleep, and then get enough sleep, and then you can see the difference. But,
stay up for 96 hours, and then take 200 milligrams of diphenhydramine, and then sleep for 13 hours.
That's not what I said at all. But
it is what you said. It's implied.
We'll leave these further sleep experiments up to the viewers. Please write us a letter. Postal, not email. No YouTube messages. Just
we don't even read those. I wouldn't know how.
Yeah, but just send a letter in the mail letting us know how it went.
You may have to smoke some methamphetamine to stay up that late, and you may get sore from constant masturbation. So that's a warning.
And of course,
the suggestion is getting worse and worse.
Thanks a lot, Vincent. Really lowered the bar of the discussion here.
So we have our second sleep-related suggestion, which, Ben, I guess you should explain.
Yeah, my suggestion was to take note of your dreams each night and make something based on them, but not just like a straightforward description like, last night I had this dream where I was at my high school, but it was also sort of the moon and my neighbors were there, because nobody cares about that. Instead, the example I gave was that a while back I spent a month making a fake custom magic card based on my dreams each night. So the suggestion was to just make some sort of creative work kind of inspired by or based on your dreams.
Did you do it this week as well?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't commit to it as much as I was originally planning. I had a very elaborate plan for it that didn't end up being feasible.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we going to check this stuff out? Are you going to screen share and put it up, or what's the deal?
I don't know. I'll definitely link it below the video, but yeah, I should probably screen share this.
Did you go through this suggestion? Did you do the suggestion? Okay.
I did. I've been closed-lipped about what I've been doing, but what I did was I wrote a haiku for my dreams.
All right. Would you like to read those first, and then I'll screen share Matt's and mine, because I have those up in a web browser now. I haven't looked at Matt's yet, but he sent me the link.
Get that stuff set up while I read my haiku. So I did one for each night, so I've got 7 of them. I'll just go in order here. This is night number 1. Louis C.K.'s here. Script and sticker are strong clues. This could be his car. Night number 2. Video makes clear. Reagan could not tie his shoes. Ghosts must hide the truth. Number 3, this is Monday night. Mark Maron has sex with a giant black woman. Hello, Chris Claremont. Number 4, Tuesday night. I told people why my office smells like garbage. They believed me not. Wednesday night, number 5. My house collapses into a street-worthy ride, cruising hometown roads. Number 6, Thursday. African genie, motion-sensing robot car. Suddenly, Jude's gone. And then, last night, I guess, number 7. Why is Jude talking in coherent, dirty words? All eyes turn to me.
That's the best of them. Yeah, That's good. I think haiku is a good medium for this, since
Yeah, that turned out very well.
but short, you didn't clutter it up with too many details.
So who's next? Who's on deck?
Yeah, maybe.
You gotta step up to the plate, Morty.
Okay, is the screen share working? I think I'm screen sharing maps now.
It's working, yeah.
Okay, let me just make sure I'm selected on here. So that. Alright, so the first of these, it's a bar graph. Least watched Olympic sports. Actually, Matt, maybe you should be describing these instead of me.
Yeah, least watch Olympic sports. Supervised television watching. Golf, which is misspelling of golf. Sign on and just the question, where? And then, see, the thing is, I wanted to do a different format that was sort of like as unhelpful at describing a dream as a magic card, and one of them is a magic card. So, all right, the next one is a magic card. Pick me. California shooter, but I had to use this picture for this one. He's a pretty shitty card.
Yeah, I like the idea of printing a creature pygmy just to say that's not a pygmy.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to delve into explaining a dream about.
No, that's fair. I think these works should speak for themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Like a box of cereal. Chemicals.
Yeah, it's a design for a box of cereal. Yeah, it's a thing. Please enjoy the wedding. There's some assault rifles on the side of the box where there would normally be like a puzzle or a nutrition facts, and the stock for that gun is attached to the trigger guard instead.
And next to the CD design, tornado shooters, 2 tornado twist.
Right. This one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's clearly based on the tornadoes from SimCity, from the disaster menu.
Yeah, that. Right, and I took care to use clip art with, sample stuff on it. I think you can still read it.
Yeah.
Yes, watermarking the clip art. Yeah, all right.
And next one.
That one's pretty self-explanatory. This is an anime screen cap.
Yeah.
Just one specific moment of the dream that I had to pick out at.
That is pretty clear. And then you've got a meme.
Yeah, this meme worked out a lot better than I thought it would because the information that you get out of a meme is so worthless normally that turning into complete nonsense really doesn't change my enjoyment of it in any way. Like, it's all about the pacing of the information that's coming to you, combined with like the facial reaction in the picture. So, like, this to me is actually funnier than like 99% of this stuff that I see on the internet.
Yeah, what I like about this one is that it's the format, that seeing that Spike typed this up and made it meme-style image makes you want to try to read some coherent story into it. It's hard to look at that and not try to come up with a way that these captions relate.
Yeah.
The next one is...
it's a directory with icons demonstrating what's going on in the room there.
Everybody, inside couch, outside grill, outside television screen, and truck.
Yep. It's just there on the local disk. I had to make those icons and then turn them into icon things. But they don't scale down very well.
Yeah, that's nicely done. I like the variety on these.
Yeah,
I wanted to do a different
impressive.
thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, what do you got, Ben?
All right, let me
Yeah.
see. All right, so I did kind of screenshots of video games that all
Oh.
drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Are you seeing them now? I don't know if it
Yes.
switched over.
I see them.
Okay. Yes, the first one available Sunday. That's the day I was reflecting on the dream. I woke up Sunday and made that.
I see.
Just find the
Some of these are
keys.
pretty easy, but one of them's really hard. Look.
Yeah, well, in the dream, actually, I'm not sure how much I should say about that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here. The chairman approves.
Thank you, Chairman.
Alright, let's see. Monday was this driving game, I think showing you your money and your
it's
number
like-
of cookies collected. That bin in the top
Is
right
that
is
like-
supposed to be like a mini-map view.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah,
but it's like Cookie Theft Auto or.
yeah, I think this is, yeah, with it. Have
The
a
way this is
terrible
drawn,
Grand
though-
Theft Auto inspired knockoff.
The way that this is drawn, though, it looks like it's a Rad Racer type game. Do you remember Rad Racer for NES?
No, I know.
It's like the really. I think it was made by Blizzard. I can't remember, but one of those early NES racing games that just had like a horizon line with like a vague road shape, and you had to stay on that. Anyway, the way this is drawn reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, well, that's due to low artistic ability on my part.
So it wasn't like that, like a very linear racing game. It was more styled like a GTA game. Or
Well, I mean,
this is-
the dream wasn't. The dream wasn't. It's directly about.
I'm getting
playing a
confused,
game, so.
but your intention is of a GTA type game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like a kind of
Nice.
GTA-inspired game, like a game company thinking, hey, GTA is really popular, let's make a game where you drive around it, it's kind of sandboxy or whatever.
But with
Get
cookies.
Cookies.
I like cookies.
The next one, Tuesday.
Yeah, okay.
It,
I couldn't begin to tell you what's happening in that dream.
well,
What sort of game
actually-
is this supposed to be like?
yeah, kind of this. Well, actually, in this dream, there was a video game being played. The shots fired thing is at 500 because in the dream I had worked out that you unlocked certain bonuses whenever your shots fired was at a multiple of 500. And it worked out a way to kind of game it that registered more shots fired than you'd actually done so that you could get to those bonuses faster.
Let's see. I'm having a little trouble with the reds, like health bars or
Yeah, I'm not
some
sure
other
about
sort
that.
of meteor.
Yeah, I forget what that was supposed to be. That wasn't directly in the dream. I think I was just going for like health bar interface elements.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think that reads.
And this one is
planning into,
self-explanatory.
That looks like a horrible tsunami scene with people being caught up in the tidal wave, and then those other beachgoers are about to be smashed.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Or
It
like
does
a-
look like that. It's meant to be more water slide-ish, where is your people going down across this ocean,
Okay, so they're screaming
but
with
to the
fun
other side.
and
Yeah,
not fear.
yeah. You can't see their expressions because they're all facing away from you, though.
Oh, right. Oh, okay, I see. I just thought that you couldn't be bothered to draw faces on them.
That too, but they are looking away.
Okay.
No, they're
And wait,
They
hold
are
on.
looking
The name of the
evil.
game is present on the screen at all times when you're playing it?
Yeah.
It seems like that. I don't get that.
Well, I think that's actually a pretty good idea for games.
it's Sponsored.
It's actually very common for browser-based games.
Oh yeah, it could be a flash game. All right.
Yeah, maybe this is browser-based.
I rescind my statement.
Alright, going on to the Thursday one.
Big.
I don't know if you're able to read this in the screen share. I could read the dialogue for you. So, you may be on your way to graduate from hero school, but how about joining our villain society? And the response options are sure and no way. This would be choice in some RPG style
Moral
thing.
lesson to us all.
Yeah.
Hello.
I like the smiley the best.
Yeah, that represents your characterness, and you've got this map to move through.
It's
Yeah.
everything.
And then the final one, I
Well, I'm
drew
glad
the
you.
box art of a game. Freak Ride 2014. Box also says new with food processor attachment, and it's for the PS4.
You almost brought it around to the appliance suggestion.
Pretty
Yeah.
close.
They bumped up a little bit there.
Oh yeah. I like that you started
Alright,
exploring
so-
the design for the game box because that's closer to what I did.
Yeah, it is.
That makes me happy.
I'm going to end the screen share and come
Nice.
back to you guys.
Well, I feel like I really did
That's-
this fast compared to what you guys did.
No,
And my original plan was to make an actual Flash game for each of these, but that would have been an absurd amount of work.
Yeah.
that's pretty ambitious, but I think you could have done it. I could have sent you my.
I tried
bad.
harder than I've been able
That was
to.
my plan too.
Oh yeah?
That was my plan. But of course, I didn't see making a couple small Flash animations that sort of loop constantly.
Nice. I haven't done even that. I've never made anything in Flash.
That would have been a lot of work then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty ambitious, though. I guess I would suggest this suggestion of logging your dreams in a way that's unhelpful for other people to read the description of the dream because it seems to produce some interesting art.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't really part of the suggestion that it was supposed to be an unhelpful way, was it? I mean, that's...
Well, that's what I got from the magic cards, though.
Those weren't trying to be unhelpful.
Well, if you wanted to accurately display the narrative of a dream, then, you know, a magic card or a cereal box isn't really the way to go.
Right,
Well-
but I mean, the goal wasn't to make it hard to follow the narrative of the dream. It's just that following the narrative of the dream wasn't a goal at all. Kind of orthogonal to what I was going for, that one.
So the goal was just to
I mean,
make...
if I had had a dream where making a magic card of it would perfectly explain to people what was going on in the dream, that would be fine. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Oh. All right.
Like, actually, I think during the month I did that, I did have a couple dreams where I actually saw magic cards in the dream, and then my card for that dream was just recreating that as close to as I could.
Some of my haiku did a pretty good job of summarizing the dream, really.
Yeah.
I can't tell you any other part of the story besides Mark Maron having sex with a giant black woman. I really don't remember what led into that or led out of that. So that's pretty well
So
encapsulated.
that's interesting. Wait, were you able to retain a lot of memory of details of these dreams beyond what made it into the haikus? Because for me, my experience is that I can look at one of those video game screenshot things and remember a lot about the dream that isn't at all reflected in the image.
Two of them, I wrote down everything. For 2 days, I wrote down everything I could remember first, and then went back and wrote the haiku. So for those, no. For the other ones, it's hard for me to say whether I forgot everything that didn't go into the haiku or whether I just wrote the haiku about what little I could remember. I don't always have a good record with remembering things that happened in my dreams.
Yeah.
Although I have some vivid memories of the dreams from this week, more so than I usually do, so I think there's something to it, to this process of making you remember your dreams.
Yeah, that's an effect I was hoping that you would get out of it.
It actually became more difficult for me as the week went on to remember my dreams.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it became more difficult because you used up a bunch of possible ways of drawing them.
That too.
I think I would say this is a good recommendation for people who are artistically inclined. I think like Matt's output was pretty interesting. I don't think my haiku were really anything that would be worth a long-term project.
I don't know if that's true. If I had to rank between you and Ben, I would say that I enjoyed your haikus more than Ben's drawings. Sorry, Ben.
It's okay.
That's art criticism.
So we'll be looking for
I will put so many of the game titles in the screenshots.
Well, even so, I think, well, but you're in a different league than Ben is in terms of your comics ability.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's
Obviously, Ben is horrible and should feel bad about even trying to draw anything.
no. I mean, you went with
Photography is a form of drawing.
he should have done photographs. He should have played to his strengths.
Yeah, the problem is most of my dreams are about things that aren't readily photographable by me.
Well, you got
Then I could have done. Let me
Take your fictional blueprint of Hogwarts.
Yeah, well, that was an odd dream because it was really set in a hotel, but everybody in it was a Harry Potter character.
There's nothing stopping you from like using mixed media or photoshopping, something together.
That dream I had about Reagan not being able to tie his shoes, that was a pretty good one, though. There was a lot of stuff going on there. See, there was this presidential library, and if I could go in the library, I could pull up these videos of Reagan not being able to tie his shoes. Or whenever I tried to use the computer, all these ghosts of previous librarians would come to try to scare me off because they didn't want me to see Reagan not being able to tie his shoes.
That's probably something that actually happened near the end of Reagan's life, too.
Bring us down, Matt.
So I would give this suggestion a limited thumbs up, depending on who the artist is going to be. But I'd say if you're an artist producing, capable of producing valuable work, then I think this is a fine experiment to try. I think you come up with interesting stuff by doing it. And Ben's magic cards, I think, are a good example of something good that he did create using the same method. I think your magic cards are really good. And I'm not joking about. Well, you're not a skilled artist, but I don't think your art style really detracted from what you did here either. I think that it was still interesting. I don't know that I would recommend that you continuously do it, but like for Matt,
well, if I were going to, I would probably go back to the magic card format.
That's worthwhile.
Yeah, there will always be people who want to see custom magic cards based on dreams.
Yeah, well, you said you stopped doing it because you had to force it after a while.
Yeah.
So I imagine it does burn out as a a potential source of creativity at some point.
Mhm.
I wonder.
All right.
Oh shoot!
So I guess we're moving on to suggestions for next time.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember what I had. Other people better talk, and I'll try to remember.
All right.
All right,
My
Lewis, what do you
suggestion.
think? Matt.
Yes. My suggestion for this week will require you to break out your copy of Maze, the world's most challenging
All right.
puzzle, and turn to page room 18.
Room 18. I'm doing that right now.
All right.
Okay. Got mine open to page 18.
Yeah, I had picked this room at random, and I think it's the right choice. You should write a short story, 2,000 words or less, anything in this room. I'm assigning a Maze fan fiction about roommate. Anything can happen. It can involve other rooms, but the focus has to be in 18.
Okay.
A Maze fanfiction challenge. I like it. You said
Pretty
about 2,000. What was the word count you wanted?
I chose less than 2,000.
Okay.
I don't imagine we'll be reading that on the air, but whatever.
Well, maybe if it's much less
Also,
than 2,000.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Vince could write another
flash
haiku.
fiction. Maybe we should go. Yeah, he's gonna write a haiku about that room.
Vince
my
is going to
other idea
write
for
more
a
than
suggestion-
either of us, and we know it.
I was going to suggest an episode of a cartoon where they go to India and learn about culture shock from India, but just to annoy Vincent. But I decided to go with the maze thing instead. Does anybody have anything else?
What do you have, Ben?
Okay, I'm going to suggest, and let me know if you guys have done this already, but I'm going to suggest an avocado smoothie.
Oh man,
Avocado smoothie.
They're
See.
very good, and for some reason they sound pretty off-putting when you first hear about them. Like, it's not the sort of fruit you normally think about putting in a smoothie, but it works very well.
it's got a very good texture. I've been holding off on a lot of food-related suggestions because it would require Vincent to spend money, and so he wouldn't.
That's
do
the
it.
concern I was just about to express for the avocado smoothie.
I will mail you an
Avocado-
avocado.
It's 50 cents.
What does it? No, I eat avocados all the time, actually. But so, what does it take
Yeah.
to be an avocado smoothie? You gotta like mix it in with a bunch of ice, right?
Yeah, okay, I don't have a recipe prepared for this, so you
Is
and
it
me
just
work that
avocado?
out, but I'm going
It's
to say
avocado.
there's probably a range of things that could count as an avocado smoothie, so it's up to you what sort of ingredients you want to gather for this.
Okay.
Just make the avocado smoothie that best expresses what's in your heart.
So 2 avocados.
Yeah, if that's what's in your heart, which it is.
Okay. Here's the suggestion I'm gonna give you. Everybody is going to do a hangout on air this week for at least 5 minutes by themselves.
Whoa. I like that.
And you got to leave it out there. It's going to be on YouTube. You can't pull it. It's going to be out there forever.
All right, so this is sort of a long-term task, since this is something we have to keep doing for the rest of our lives.
That's true.
We have to keep not deleting that video.
Yeah, next week we're all going to get tattoos. I like that SuggestCast is slowly turning into like a
Truth or Dare. Yeah.
It's more like an arts and crafts show.
Yeah. Well, suggestions can be pretty much anything.
Okay.
If you can suggest it, it's a suggestion.
As Thomas Edison once
Yeah.
said. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
have
kind
our
of
work.
moved beyond cultural touchstones. Although I at least have the flimsy excuse of having written fan fiction as a cultural touchstone.
That could be legit.
I think it is. A lot of people write fanfic. That's an
I've
important
never
part of
written a
popular
fan fiction
culture.
before.
Well,
I've
you're
never
going
written
to.
one before, so this will be my first time.
Yeah.
We're
Forward to
all
it.
got to be beat gentle.
All right. So until next time, we're SuggestCast.